So, is Universal's Epic Universe being overhyped, or is it just as good as everyone says it is? Well, in today's video, I'm going to be answering every single question on Epic Universe that you all sent me. So I've now been to Epic Universe twice, and I feel I have a good lay of the land to be answering your questions about the park, and I will be going again on Monday. So stay tuned for a full video inside of Epic Universe that will be coming out later this week. And some of the questions I will be answering in today's video are about, is the hype for Epic Universe real? How big is the new park? What rides do you recommend to do first? Can you do all the rides in one day? What are the must-dos inside of Epic Universe? And much more. I will say, that might be my video for Monday. Can I do all the rides in one day? We'll see. But let's get on to today's actual video of answering every single question you all have for Epic Universe. So for the first question about Epic Universe, there's actually a ton of questions in this one, but I'm just gonna go off of the first part for the beginning of this. How is Epic Universe set up, and is each part of the park separate, or does it flow? So the park is set up into 5 different lands. So when you walk into Epic Universe, you walk into Celestial Park. So this is kind of the main hub of Epic Universe. It is absolutely beautiful, breathtaking, just beautiful. They did an amazing job. It's something that I haven't seen inside of a theme park, just honestly how amazing it is. I can't, or I could say how epic it is. So like I said, it's set up into 5 parts, the main hub area being Celestial Park. This is where you'll find a bunch of different restaurants, bars, shops where you can get all of your merchandise, as well as 2 rides there. It is going to be the Constellation Carousel and Stardust Racers. Then you have the portals into the 4 other lands. So Dark Universe, Super Nintendo World, How to Train Your Dragon, the Isle of Berk, and the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic. And obviously to get into these lands, you have to walk into each of the portals, which are amazing to see and even cooler to see at night. So it is set up very well. It flows easy throughout the whole park. There's tons of stuff to do, inside of Celestial Park and obviously inside all of the lands itself. So that is kind of the main setup of Epic Universe. And then on the back side of Epic Universe is the Helios Grand Hotel, which actually has its own entrance into the park for hotel guests. So I do want to stay there eventually. It's just pretty hefty price to stay there. Yeah, that's how the park is set up. You have Celestial Park as the main hub, then you have the 4 portals into the lands, and then in the back of the park, you have the Helios Grand Hotel. This kind of leads into the next question right here. How big is the new park? Now, size-wise, I don't know technically how big Epic Universe is, in land size, but I will say the way they have it set up makes the park feel a lot larger than it is, because you have to go through those different portals to enter each of the lands. Because if you just had normal entrances into a land without these massive portals, I definitely feel like the park would feel a lot smaller than it actually is, because then you'd be able to see into every single land. But these portals make it feel like, obviously you're going into these different worlds of, the Universal Monsters, How to Train Your Dragon, Super Nintendo World, also in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic. So they did a great job of making this park feel a lot bigger than it actually is. But there is also so much to do in each land. You could probably spend a day, half a day, a whole day in each of the lands, because there is so much to see, so much to do, so much food to eat. And it's a brand new park. Which again is going to lead right into my next question. What was the feeling like when you first entered the park? I was blown away. I will not stop talking about how amazing or epic Epic Universe is. I was blown away. Just how well everything is themed. There's not an inch of that park that is not themed very well. And I will say, living here in Orlando, I have the luxury of going to the theme parks whenever I want. So I don't get that, theme park withdrawal that I used to get when I would live away and have to leave the parks and travel back home and be like, oh, I have the Disney blues or the Universal blues because I'm not at the theme parks anymore. I haven't had that in a very, very long time since living here in Orlando, because I could just kind of, get in my car, drive down the street, and I'm at Disney. Drive down the street, and I'm at Universal, SeaWorld, you name it. Epic Universe has brought back the theme park withdrawals for me. That first day, I honestly kind of blacked out. Like, it's weird. I didn't think it would happen. I'd be like, oh, just going to another theme park. I walked through the first, the Kronos, that first portal, and I was just amazed by every single thing that I saw inside of that park. Because it was all brand new. It wasn't like, oh, Universal just added a new land to, Islands of Adventure, Universal Studios, or, Disney adds a land to one of their parks. Everything there was brand new. A brand new theme park here in Orlando, which is the first time in, I believe, 20 plus years, something like that. It was insane. Like I said, I blacked out. Half the time I was like, oh my God, I totally forgot we did that. Or I'd have pictures on my phones. I'd be like, oh, I forgot we, even went and saw that. But it was insane, and every person that I've talked to has had the exact same feeling. So I cannot wait for whenever you all go and get the chance to visit Epic Universe to have that same feeling of walking in the park and just being amazed by every single thing you see. So the feeling was crazy. Like you can tell, it's hard to put those feelings into words because of how insane and great Epic Universe is, and how well of a job Universal did with creating this theme park. I could just go on for days sitting here talking about every single little detail inside of Epic Universe and, what I felt the first time seeing it. It's insane. I can't give enough high praises for it. I cannot stop thinking about it. And I'm going on Monday. So I honestly thought, I had got a chance to go for a team member preview, so I was very thankful for that. And I was thinking, okay, I'll go, then, and then I have tickets for opening day and the day after. So I was like, I'll just wait till then. And as soon as I left that park, I was like, please announce annual Passholder previews because I need to go back. I bought one. And then again, I bought one thinking, okay, I'll just do one day and then just go back whenever the park opens. But this park is so amazing. There's so much to do. I'm rambling on with this question right here, and I have a ton more to get to. But then I bought one more. And then one more. We'll see if I buy one more again. Because also it's great for AP previews because it's kind of quote-unquote dead. There's not a lot of people there. The wait times are low. So it's just been a great time, and you get to experience a lot when you're there for AP previews. But yeah, that feeling walking into the park for the first time, insane. Next question here is, what was the most unexpected land or ride that really surpassed your expectations? For me, I would probably say two lands. Number one, How to Train Your Dragon, The Isle of Berk. Now, I had just seen those movies for the first time about a week prior to going to Epic. And I know those movies have been out for a while, so don't hate me for just now watching these, but they are some fantastic movies. And if you have not seen them, please, please, please go watch them before you go to Epic Universe. It'll give you a way better love and understanding for The Isle of Berk, and I'm so glad I watched them before I went in. But that, number one, is Isle of Berk. It is by far the biggest land at Epic Universe. It's hard to put all this into words because I really want everyone to go there if you have the chance and experience it for yourself. And I don't want to spoil a lot. But Isle of Berk, just you walk into there, the grand reveal of Berk. They have the music from How to Train Your Dragon playing. The roller coaster Hiccup's Wing Gliders is going over the water. I won't give any spoilers for the rides, don't worry. It's insane. The characters are walking around from the movie. They're hilarious. You get to go and meet Toothless. The food there is great. So that land really surprised me. I had it lower on my hype list because I was like, oh, Isle of Berk, have seen the movies or haven't seen the movies, so don't know how I'm going to like it. I'm so glad I watched the movies. Isle of Berk was the number one unexpected. And I will say number two, Super Nintendo World. That land blew me away. I didn't realize, I'm a lot older now. Now, I played, Nintendo games when I was younger. So I was thinking, okay, I'll go in the land, ride the rides, and I'll be like, okay, it was cool. It was, whatever. I love Super Nintendo World. It is so much fun. There's so much to do there. I ended up, let me find it real quick. I ended up buying one of the Super Nintendo World power-up bands that you can use throughout the land for all the games, and you can link it to the Universal Orlando app and track your scores and get coins. I could spend hours in Super Nintendo Land just using this right here. This is so much fun. So if you are going, I highly recommend getting one of these because it adds another level of immersion into Super Nintendo World. So much to do. But yeah, Super Nintendo World. I was blown away. I love it. I love every single land. There's not a bad land there. There's nothing there that I would be like, okay, you can skip that land and you're not missing much. No, you have to go and see everything at Epic Universe. But back to Super Nintendo World, it's playing all the classic Super Nintendo music. They have all the character meet and greets. They have, Mario Kart, Bowser's Challenge, Yoshi's Adventure, which is basically the people movers for Super Nintendo World. It's a lot of fun. You get great views of Super Nintendo World. And then you have Donkey Kong Minecart Madness, which I have yet to go on that because it's either been a really crazy high wait time or it has been down for technical difficulties, which during the AP previews is understandable because they still are in technical rehearsals. So I'll have to go and try to ride that on Monday. But yeah, those are the two things that surprised me the most or most unexpected, that passed my expectations. I don't even know if that was English, what I just said, would be How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk, and Super Nintendo World. So, can you do all of the rides in one day? If you are going for AP previews, 100%. It is definitely possible. I got every single ride done there except for the carousel, which I just didn't ride. I could have. And Donkey Kong Minecart Madness, just because there was low high wait times, waited for it to go down. And then when the wait times went down, it had technical difficulties. So that was the only two reasons I didn't ride every single ride. But if you're going during the previews, it is very possible for you to do it. Now, if you're not going for AP previews and you're just going on a regular park day, it is possible to ride them all in one day, but that is going to be if A, you get the virtual queue for Harry Potter, if they're still doing that when it's officially open, because that is very, very hard to get. And two, I think you're going to have to do Express in order to ride every single ride, unless you go on a day and it's not busy at all. So it is very possible to ride it without Express, but it has to be, not crazy busy. Probably won't be possible in the first, month or two of it being open, just because all of the hype around it. But yeah, you can definitely do it. If you want to stay on the safe side, I would definitely purchase Express Pass. Moving into some of the rides, next question, was the new Harry Potter ride underwhelming? So I will say I have mixed reviews on this ride. Nothing bad. The ride, amazing. The technology that they use for this ride, insane. Top notch. Walking through that queue for the first time, and I'm not really an emotional kind of guy. I'm not one to, go into a theme park that I haven't been to in a while and, cry or, meet a character and cry. It's just not who I am. First time I walked through that queue, and I will tell you this, I love Harry Potter, love the movies. I'm not a diehard Harry Potter fan. But we were going up to the queue, and the friends that I were with were like, oh, the first time we went through, we cried. And I was like, it's a queue. What is it again? Like, cool, I'm just going to walk out and be like, oh, cool, whatever. Your boy's eyes started to water a little bit. Just a little bit. Could have been the AC. Could there have been a bug in my eye? Who knows? No, I'm kidding. But walking into that queue, going through the Metro Flume, I'll put a little clip in here. If you want to skip over it, skip over it. All right, so this is where we go through the Metro Flume. We have 4. Awesome, thank you. Here we go. Through the Metro Flume. Holy sh**. Wow. I have chills. Insane. I'm a big Harry Potter fan. Like, wow. This is insane. I felt like I was dropped in the middle of a movie set. And hear me out. I'm a way bigger Star Wars fan than I am Harry Potter. I didn't even teary-eye water up when I went through Rise of the Resistance for the very first time, seeing the grand reveal of the Stormtroopers. Nothing. I was like, oh, that's really cool. I was super excited. But I didn't feel like I was just dropped in a movie set. This one, insane. Now, why I do have mixed reviews on the Harry Potter and the Battle of the Ministry ride is that I heard from a lot of people that it was the greatest ride they have ever been on. The best ride that's ever been created. So I went in, when my expectations should have been up here, they were up here. Now, that was also added with the stress of getting a virtual queue, waiting in line. The ride broke down for like 20 minutes, had to wait extra, and then finally getting on the ride. Overall, though, spectacular. If you say this is your favorite ride, no shame. I would 100% understand why this is your favorite ride at Epic Universe. Do I think it's the best ride ever created? No, not at all. It's a great ride, though. Again, I don't want to spoil anything for everyone, so I won't say anything. I won't, do anything to spoil this ride for you. You need to go see it for yourself. If you're a big Harry Potter fan, you are going to absolutely love it. Again, just the technology they use. It's basically like a mixture of like Tower of Terror with the ride vehicle, but like the Spider-Man ride at Universal. The animatronics in the ride are insane. Some of them I thought were real people. So the overall ride, again, amazing. Only thing is I guess I was expecting a little bit more, which I shouldn't have been because Universal went over and beyond with this ride. I just went in with crazy expectations because people were like, oh, this is the best ride ever. Nothing will ever beat this. Nothing will ever top this. And so I went in with crazy expectations. So I will say underwhelming in that stance. But if you're going in with none of that in mind, it's an amazing ride. Kudos. Hats off. Round of applause to Universal for creating that ride. It's amazing. Just, you have to go ride it. Next question is, what ride will you recommend to go first with the lines? For Epic Universe, if you are staying on property, you get early park admission. Now, that is only for Super Nintendo World, Stardust Racers, and the Constellation Carousel. None of the other lands will open up until the park officially opens to everyone. So, if you are doing early park admission with your hotel stay, I recommend going straight to Super Nintendo World because that is where everyone's going for early park admission, obviously. And I would recommend doing either Minecart Madness or Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge because those wait times tend to be on the higher end of all the rides inside of the park just because those are two of the most popular ones. So if you're doing that, Super Nintendo World, easy answer. If you're not and you're just waiting for the park to officially open, I would recommend, because more than likely, who knows, Harry Potter will stay as a virtual queue, so that will drop periodically throughout the day for you to get. If it doesn't drop throughout the day, go there, number one. If it's just a standby line, go there because the line for that is going to be a long time. And when I say a long time, Universal has built the queue to hold up to, I believe, 6, 7, maybe 8 hours worth of a line. So that queue will get backed all the way up if it's a normal standby. If it's virtual queue, go somewhere else. I recommend going over into Dark Universe, doing the Universal Monsters, because that wait time will get up a little bit as well. And then maybe kind of making your way over to then the Isle of Berk, where you can go and do Hiccup Swing Gliders, Dragon Racers Rally, Fire Drill. Finally, unless you want to spend a lot of time in Super Nintendo World, if you just want to go in there, ride the rides, and get out, I would kind of wait until the morning hype of it dies down. Maybe go over there in the afternoon, and that's when you get on some of the rides, because not only do you have the early park admission resort guests over in Super Nintendo World, you also then get everyone else trying to go in there as soon as the park opens. So my best advice right now from what I've experienced is heading over into Dark Universe or even, the Isle of Berk. If you're not Universal Monster fans or you have kids and you want to go do the fun stuff, Isle of Berk. Let Super Nintendo World kind of die off a little bit during the day, then head over there. All right, going on May 4th, what's a must-do? Is it bad if I say everything? Just leave the question at that, or the answer, I should say. Everything? No, I won't do that to you. Some of the must-do rides, I will say, are going to be Monsters Unchained over in Dark Universe, Harry Potter Ministry of Magic, Hiccup's Wing Gliders, Stardust Racers, Minecart Madness, even though I haven't ridden it yet, and Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge. Those are the big hitters, the big rides. What I will also say is a must-do is go to the lands both during the day and at nighttime, because I really think Epic Universe thrives at night. So many lights, so much going on, so much to see, especially at Dark Universe. At night, that land really comes alive. I also will say meet tons of characters when you're there in the lands. And this is coming from someone who does not, absolutely zero hate it meeting characters. I will meet every single character in Epic Universe. Dark Universe, the characters are amazing. You have Igor, the Invisible Man, the Bride of Frankenstein. You also have like violinists that are villagers who are going through the lands. You have monster hunters in the bar inside of Dark Universe that are there to meet. And then you move over into the Isle of Berk. You have Hiccup, you have Astrid, you have Toothless, you have Stormfly, you have Rough Nut and Tough Nut. And then it's great. All the characters there are great. They do an amazing job. So shout out to Universal for that. And I've not met any of the characters over in Super Nintendo World, but one I do want to meet is going to be Donkey Kong. We have a Donkey Kong meet and greet inside of Donkey Kong Country. So that's one I cannot wait for. Hopefully he's there on Monday so I can, maybe go and meet him. But those are some of the must-dos. Just take everything in. If I'm going to give you a big must-do, take everything in. It is a brand new theme park. There's going to be so much to see. Now, you cannot do everything in one day. And when I say everything, it's going to be like go to every show, go to every ride, eat all the stuff you want to eat, meet all the characters you want to meet, go shopping. It's a lot. Like, there's a lot to do there because everything is so brand new. So again, just take it all in, have the best time, but definitely hit up some of those must-do rides because Universal killed it. Go check out the Burning Blade when it is going off at night. The way you know it's going off is you'll hear the bell tower going off in the distance inside of Dark Universe, and then you know that is time, or now it is time for the blade to start turning on and turning on fire. It's a must-see at night. What was the longest wait time I had? For me, it was Monsters Unchained because we had gotten in line first thing in the morning. It was posted at I think we got in line, it was like a 40-minute wait, and then it got delayed. I think we ended up waiting about an hour and a half, but that's with delays. The longest I waited for a ride without an actual delay was Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge, which is about a 35-minute wait. Like I said, if you're an annual pass holder right now, this is the best time to go. We are never going to see wait times like this again at Epic Universe because the crowds are going to start to roll in. The wait times are going up. So if you are an annual pass holder and you have time, go during the previews because you'll never see these wait times again. At some point during the day, Monsters Unchained was at 20 minutes. Stardust Racers was at 10 minutes. Donkey Kong Minecart Madness was at 20 minutes. That's when I got in line for it, or went to go get in line for it, and then it broke down. But yeah, for the pass holder previews, wait times have not been long. Now, I've only been going on weekdays because those are my days off, which just kind of helps. I've noticed on the weekends, I periodically will check just to see. They will go a little higher, 50, 60 minutes, which would be typical for a weekend. But yeah, so if you're an annual pass holder, go get a preview date, buy your ticket. Potentially, if you can, do it on a weekday because the wait times have tended to be a little bit lower on those days. So these are 2 questions. I'm going to put them both up here. Going to kind of wrap it into one. Favorite thing that I ate and how was the food? Favorite thing I ate is the Dragon Fire Chicken Spire. I believe that's what it's called. I'll put the actual title here. Mac and cheese cone. If you all know me, I love those mac and cheese cones over in Disneyland. But man, Universal completely blows those out of the water. It is a mac and cheese cone with Nashville hot pulled chicken in it. I believe some chimichurri sauce. Again, I'll pull it down here. And some crispy onion straws on top. And that was by far my favorite thing I have eaten. I also got the chicken wings over in Dark Universe at Doss Steakhouse. Those were amazing as well. I haven't had a bad thing to eat at Epic Universe. Between the wings, the mac and cheese cone, I also had the garlic steak pretzel in Dark Universe. That was amazing. And obviously, I had to have a couple drinks around. Check out the bars. I went to Celeste Tiki, which is inside of Celestial Park, which is right on the water, which is really cool. I went into the Burning Blade Tavern, which is the bar inside of Dark Universe, which has the Burning Blade on it, which is a sight to see. I haven't had anything bad. Now, I haven't tried everything yet. I do want to go over into Toadstool Cafe and try some stuff there. I need to go and try the Butterbeer Crepe. That has been on my list every single time I've been, and I just keep forgetting about it. Like, I'll walk into the Ministry, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Ministry of Magic, and I'll walk in that land, I'll be like, I'll walk right by it. I'm like, okay, I'm not leaving here until I get the Butterbeer Crepe. And then I end up walking out and completely forgetting about it. So Monday, I will be getting that. So what has been my favorite part so far? I'll be honest, it's gonna be everything. I love just going into Epic Universe and being able to experience the whole park. It's brand new. Going into a brand new theme park for the first time, there's not a lot of better feelings than going into something brand new and just having no idea where to go and just adventuring and checking out everything. But I will say Dark Universe is one of my favorite lands. I'm a big Halloween Horror Nights fan, so it's basically 365 Halloween Horror Nights. And if you all love Halloween Horror Nights as much as I do, you all are going to love this land. But every land I have such a great, love for. Isle of Berk, it's amazing. There's so much to do there. Super Nintendo World makes me feel like a little kid again with this band running around and playing all the games. And then Harry Potter, or the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Ministry of Magic is massive. Like, the buildings are so tall. Like, you feel like I walked into that land and I didn't feel like I was inside of a theme park. I felt like I just literally got transported into Paris. From the details in the buildings to how tall they are to everything. You feel like you got stuck right in the middle, or you got placed right in the middle of Paris, and it's really cool. And they have like little cafes like right on the the pathway that you can sit outside and like watch people walk by and do people watching and look outside of the land. So I just love how immersive everything is. Like, you don't feel like you're inside a theme park when you walk into each of the lands. And like I said, Ministry of Magic, you feel like you're in Paris. Isle of Berk, you feel like you've been transported somewhere else. Dark Universe, you feel like you are in Halloween Horror Nights, 365. And then Super Nintendo World, you feel like you just got transported right into a video game. So is it bad that I say my favorite part about Epic is Epic? Everything that it has to offer? I can't say enough good things about it. So, do I like the parks better during the day or at night? I'll be honest, like I said earlier, I think Epic really thrives at night. Everything is so beautiful at night. You have all the lands lit up. Dark Universe feels like it is transformed into a totally different thing at night. Celestial Park, they have the water show right in front of the Grand Helios Hotel. They have all these different like lighting packages going around. All the lights are changing. Super Nintendo World at night is just kind of brought to life. It's the same as Paris, Ministry of Magic. You're walking in there and everything's illuminated on the buildings. You feel like, again, you're right in Paris. So I will say my favorite part, or I like the parks better at night. I always have, especially here in Florida, just because it gets so hot during the day and it cools off at night. So it's a lot more chill. But yeah, Epic Universe at night is insane. What is my favorite ride inside of Epic Universe? I am going to say, I'll give you my top three. Now, this number one is number one. Number one is going to be, for me, again, big Halloween Horror Nights fan. I love Monsters Unchained. This one has screens here and there, but it kind of plays into the background of everything going on because they have so many animatronics inside that ride. And the queue is amazing going through the manor. in the pre-show with Victoria, and then Frankenstein comes out of nowhere. It's amazing. It's great. I can't say enough great things about Monsters Unchained. So that is by far my number one ride inside of Epic Universe. Number two is going to be Stardust Racers. Now, do I think it's better than Velocicoaster? No. It's close, but no. I will say, though, I enjoyed the green side of Stardust Racers a lot more than the yellow slide. A lot more than the yellow side of Stardust Racers. Green side is a little bit more intense, but definitely ride it during the day and then ride it again at night, because it is completely different ride when you're riding it at night, because there's no like track lights on the ride for at night. All the lights are just on the coaster, which is really cool, because when you're off the ride, it literally just looks like a comet flying through the sky. But yeah, that'd be number two. And then number three for me would be Harry Potter and the Ministry of Magic. But my favorite, like I said, Monsters Unchained. Moving on into this question, how are the rides in the sense of my stomach twisting? The only ride in Disney that I can handle is Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Rides that probably aren't going to be the best for you inside of Epic Universe, just because the motion is going to be Monsters Unchained, as well as the Ministry of Magic. I would, go and test them and see. But I've heard some people have gotten a little bit queasy over those. Again, me personally, I don't get queasy or, stomach twisting on rides. So I can't really say it to the fullest, but I know some people have. Even Stardust Racers, I know some people have as well. And I know Donkey Kong Minecart Madness, again, haven't ridden it yet, so I can't give you my own personal thoughts, but I have heard it's a little shaky, and that's just because how the ride is. It's supposed to make you feel like you're in a minecart. I heard that's a little shaky. So I would say maybe those are the ones that are going to have your stomach twisting the most out of all the rides in Epic Universe. The other ones, probably not so much, just because, Mario Kart is like a VR simulation. You're still going on a track, but it's slow, so you're not going to get sick on that. Yoshi's is a slow ride. Fire Joe is a water ride. Hiccups is a coaster. It's not going to... It's just a smooth coaster. Oh, Curse the Werewolf. That is a spinning roller coaster inside of Dark Universe. If you cannot do Guardians, then I don't recommend you doing that as well, as that will definitely get your stomach twisting. If I was going to rope drop, what portal are you hitting first and why? I probably should have seen this question earlier when I was answering about must-dos and how to do everything. I would say, for me, if I was going to rope drop one, if I'm staying in a hotel, it's obviously Super Nintendo World. Off the bat, getting that one done. If I'm not staying in Super Nintendo World, if I'm not staying in a Universal hotel, I am probably going to rope drop Dark Universe, because Monsters Unchained, that wait time will get to be very, very high, as it's going to be one of the most popular rides in the park. So that's the one I'm going to rope drop the most. What was the most disappointing and underwhelming thing there? I'm going to be honest, there wasn't anything for me that was disappointing. I was overwhelmed by everything when I got there, and just excited to see everything. So there wasn't anything that was like very disappointing to me. The only thing that if I could say something that was disappointing, was that some rides went down, but again, it was in technical rehearsals, and I knew that going in. I knew rides would be down. I knew some rides might not be open. So I would say maybe that, but also I can't really count that because it was in technical rehearsal. If I'm going to say anything, I would say probably how the virtual queue is, how difficult it is to get a virtual queue for Harry Potter and the Ministry of Magic, because I've never had an issue ever getting a virtual queue for anything at Disney. This one was very tough, because it seemed as soon as it opened up, they were gone. It wasn't like half a second. It was like clicking through different times, and like you would click it and say not available, click it, not available, click a different time, not available, click a different time, not available, click a different time, not available. So you're just clicking through these times and hoping that you get, the virtual queue. So I wish it was a little bit of an easier process or simpler. If that's the only thing that I'm going to say is disappointing, because for me, it's not really an issue if I get it or don't get it, because again, I live here in Orlando, so I have the opportunity to go back, multiple times. Some people might be coming here and it might be their only time, or their, one time and however so often that they come, and it would be disappointing, to not ride one of the best rides in the park. So I would say that is probably the disappointing, underwhelming thing, and that's why I hate virtual queues. Now again, I don't want to wait 7 hours for the ride. So there's a little, give and take with that. But if I had to say anything about the park, it would be that, because everything else was flat out amazing. Or epic. Well, there you have it. I answered all of your questions on Epic Universe. And if you have any questions about Epic Universe that you weren't able to ask, make sure, again, to leave them down below in the comments, and I will answer them as best as I can. I seriously love this park so much. It is getting the hype it deserves, and I cannot wait to go back to Epic Universe over and over again. And like I said, I will be going back to Epic Universe on Monday, so stay tuned. There will be a full video on my whole day at Epic Universe coming out later this week. I cannot wait to take you all into the park with me and showing you everything that Universal's brand new theme park has to offer. If you did enjoy today's video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, subscribe if you are new here to the channel, and make sure to ring that notification bell to get notified whenever I post a new video. So thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.